Welcome back. We're here. It's the Latched Mama podcast. It's beautiful outside. We're inside podcasting, soon to be outside running around with our kids. But Lindy's here today, and we are going to talk about mom brain because it is way a part of my life right now. You're listening to Latched Mama podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Wirt, busy mom of 6 and owner of LatchedMama.com. Join us each week as we talk about pregnancy, breastfeeding, postpartum, and all things motherhood. Hi, friend.
Hey.
You're holding my baby.
I know.
Thank you so much for holding my baby.
He's so
I feel
snuggly.
like free right now,
Good.
which is nice.
Good.
So hi.
Hi.
It's a long time no see. Actually,
Long
we just went live last night.
We actually did see each other yesterday twice.
Yeah, twice. We worked in the morning and then we went live, and now we're just like content beasts. We just make content all day long, guys, which is actually really fun. Anyways, today we're talking about mom brains.
I got one. Do you have one?
I got one too. So for those of you who don't know what we're referring to, because maybe you're magical and this doesn't happen to you, or maybe it does happen to you and you just thought you were losing your mind. So mom brain is this thing that happens sometimes just from a lack of sleep, sometimes from the weight of motherhood, but there's actually a little bit of science behind it, apparently. According to the scientists, which I am not one, apparently...
The scientific people.
The scientific-y people tell us that the gray matter, which I believe is the important stuff in the brain. I don't know what the gray matter is, but apparently the gray matter changes in size. I don't know if it increases or decreases. I think I'm going to look at my notes really fast. It decreases. The gray matter decreases. Yeah, absolutely. Which makes more room in your brain to love your child.
Why does it say why it decreases?
You're going to have to talk to the
Is
scientist
it like
about
hormonal?
that. Yes. So the gray matter decreases in certain parts of the brain and then increases in some regions of the brain. And it helps specialize your brain to focus on the maternal skill sets, like loving and nursing and like all of that jazz, and feeding and caring for your baby. I think it's also probably where like mama bear stuff comes from. Like you're like inherently protective of the baby as opposed to like, you know, I mean, there's a lot of women who will reach out to us and say, you know, why am I suddenly mean to my toddler after my baby was born? And all of that is happening, I guess, like within the gray matter of our brain. It just kind of happens, and it's how we protect our young.
Yeah, makes sense.
Crazy, huh?
Yeah.
But I think in doing that, some of our daily tasks and some things that we actually remember, like we normally do that are super easy, become a little bit harder. We become a little bit more forgetful or things like that because we're caring for our young. So there's more space in our brain to love things.
They're not priority.
Which is interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because like I know I can see a shift when I'm pregnant. Like I know that I'm much more like emotional and feel more vulnerable. And then it slowly dissipates after I have my baby. And then I start to become a little bit more able to run a company again. Although apparently on the last podcast we did that I don't believe has been dropped yet, I called my children the wrong names throughout the entire podcast and didn't even realize it. So it is what it is. All right. But today we are going to talk a little bit.
Very confidently, by the way.
Very, very confidently. We are going to talk today about some stories that we got from our Facebook group. For those of you who are not in our Facebook group, it is the Latched Mama Love Facebook group. And come join us. It is the most supportive place for moms on the internet.
Yes.
And I'm going to say that assertively because I believe it.
It is. Mm-hmm.
And we spend a lot of time and a lot of money on moderating said group. So only come if you're nice and kind. We don't want you if you're not. So, got it?
Yeah, check.
Okay, check. So do you have a story to share with us?
Well, our first story is from Megan. Hey, Megan. Megan says when her oldest son was an infant. He was diagnosed as failure to thrive at his 6-week appointment.
Aww.
I know. But that meant feeding every 2 hours by an alarm. She went back to work when he was 8 weeks old, and she's a teacher.
Okay.
Love you, Megan. Thank you for teaching.
Teachers rule the world.
Yes. And one morning, shortly after returning to work, she stood at her classroom door and could not figure out why it was not opening. She stood there for a good solid 5 minutes, and she kept hitting the unlock button of her car keys.
on the door with the doorknob.
Oh, and I'm just picturing her because I don't have an exact story like that, but I'm just feeling you. Like,
absolutely.
And that moment of realization that like, oh my God.
Like I've been trying to open a doorknob with the car thing.
To unlock a door with my car keys. I feel you. I so feel you, Megan.
You know what though, Megan? You were winning because you knew where your car keys were. There you go. There you go.
That's true.
I don't even have to worry about where my car keys are because my car keys just stay in my car all the time. If anybody would ever like to steal a 2014 Honda Odyssey that is red, it will always be able to be stealable wherever I am because I just leave my keys.
You're not ever afraid you're going to like lock them in?
No, because I don't lock the doors. So anybody could steal my car at any given moment.
Okay.
Because
I have a tile on mine,
easier.
but it really doesn't matter because the battery's dead.
I was going to say, like the tiles are great until the tile batteries die. And then like literally the only reason why I have an Apple Watch, I'm on Apple Watch number 3 in my life.
The third one?
Well, no, like in generations, like, cause I buy one and then I'll like be like, yes, this is great. I'm going to have an Apple Watch. And then I never really use it. But the one thing that the Apple Watch is good for, it's for finding your phone.
Oh yeah.
You know, so you can always find your phone if your watch is charged. There have been times where I have had to charge my watch to be able to find my phone.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
That's like bad. Next level.
It's bad.
All right.
It's bad stuff. But you were winning there because you knew where your keys were.
Thank you, Megan, for sending that in. All right.
What's up next? I can't wait. This is so much fun.
Like fancy.
This is great. Okay, we have a video.
I'm a middle school Spanish teacher, and about a month ago, I returned to school from maternity leave, and my students were working on an activity, and all of a sudden an alarm went off, and so I said, okay, everybody, time to get up, let's go, fire drill, and everybody just sat there and looked at me, nobody moved, and I said, come on, you know what the rules are, we have to go, we have to get up and go, there's a fire drill. And again, nobody moved, they just sat there and looked at me, and then finally one student said, that's not the fire alarm. That is the timer that you set a few minutes ago so we would know when we were supposed to be done with the activity. Yeah. So if you really want to experience mom brain in all its glory, I suggest you try doing so in front of a room full of teenagers.
Oh my gosh. Okay, can I first say real quick? I thought she said she was a middle school snack teacher. And I was like, I want to do that.
You want that job when you grow up. Okay, well, first of all, middle school Spanish is terrible. I mean, not really terrible. Like, I mean, I think it's a wonderful thing. It was a terrible experience for me. Not really terrible. Spanish in general was like my demise from like middle school through college. Like, it was almost the reason why I didn't get my diploma. So first of all, the fact that she's even showing up and trying to teach people how to speak another language that was really scary for me to learn. That is hilarious. Oh, can you imagine sitting there and being like, because they all knew it was her phone, I'm sure, the second it started going off.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what they went home and like they told their friends and their families that night at dinner? Well, today, can you imagine if like those parents wrote in and was like, I think you have a teacher that has some dementia going on or something. I mean.
Oh my goodness. Once again, thank you for teaching.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for teaching.
Well, and middle school kids are like relentless.
Yeah,
so
they're terrible.
I'm sure they remind her of that.
Yeah.
You know.
Next. This is so much fun. All right, am I supposed to read one?
Yeah.
Okay. This is Danielle's. Are we ready? When I was pregnant with my first, we were going away for the weekend, and I put away dinner leftovers in the fridge before we left, or I thought I did. When we came home, the kitchen smelled horrible, and we discovered that I had put a container of mashed potatoes in the microwave rather than the refrigerator. Oh my God, it's so funny because this is so real life. So she put the mashed potatoes. I'm sure that there was like a moment in her brain that she was like, mashed potatoes go in the microwave because we go and we heat things up, and that's what we do instead of the refrigerator where they go to stay cold.
I hope she still ate them for dinner.
No, she went out of town. If they smelled,
they were okay. This wasn't like that day.
Why would she eat them?
Sorry, mom brain. Yeah, I think I've thrown things like into the washer instead of into like another place.
Yeah.
Like I've lost a lot of like the different memories, but that is so easy to do.
Yeah, exactly. Because
Like-
your brain tells you that it's like
Yeah.
supposed to be heated up. It's not supposed to go in the refrigerator.
Well, I think
and
you're
then-
thinking about like that planning ahead.
Absolutely.
So she's like, this is what we're going to eat. But then like failed to realize that it was for like 3 days
she was
later.
probably like, hey, I've got to still pack the car, get the kids in it, whatever. Her partner was probably like, oh, I got to find my sunglasses and go to the bathroom. I got to do whatever. And she probably had like 17 million things on her mind. And she was like, okay, the mashed potatoes, wherever they go, they go. Yeah. No, I hear you.
Especially if they were like the good ones where you mix like sour cream and butter. And like, I bet those smelled real good. Oh, gosh.
So after I had my twins, I was exclusively breastfeeding, and in order to get some amount of sleep, I would, for part of the night, sleep in my room, and my mom and my husband would take shifts, and they would sleep in the room with the twins, and they would come and wake me up whenever it was time for them to eat. And one night my mom comes in to wake me up and gently nudged me and said, the twins are waking up. And my brain broke, and I turned over and half asleep, I said to her, okay, what do I need to do? And I literally could not remember what I was supposed to do.
Can you imagine, like only job is to take care of the twins, and then like you have no idea why somebody's telling you you have twins and they're awake.
And I can only imagine, because I can so relate to her, is how hard she slept. And you wake up and you're still completely exhausted. And now someone's like, let's go do it. And you're like, and what is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm so tired and I can't think. And I don't remember the last time I ate or took a shower by myself.
Absolutely.
Like, wait, what do you want me to do?
What, like twins? What?
Like, wait, I have twins? Like,
and
what?
What am I supposed to do with them?
Oh my goodness. We have another story. She's very glad that the story did not turn out worse. So flashback to late 2020. She had an allergy-prone newborn who slept in 20-minute stretches and screamed 24/7 when he wasn't latched.
Ooh,
and her rowdy 6-year-old, I was pumping a few times a day, trying to build a small freezer stash. When you pump, as we all know, you have to sterilize your parts and bottles. It was getting late, and I just washed all the pacifiers and pump parts for the day. I put them in the pot to boil and set my 15-minute timer. Oh my gosh, I know where this is going, or so I thought. I ended up reading to my daughter, doing her nightly routine, and then laid down to nurse my son. I kept smelling burning plastic.
Oh, no.
But didn't think anything of it until I saw smoke. I had melted and set fire to my pump parts and pacifiers. I'd completely forgotten about them.
And
safe
all
to
the water
say, I had to
probably
order all new
evaporated.
parts from Amazon, and luckily, thankfully, nothing more serious happened.
I mean,
It's a little terrifying. I can completely relate, and I'm glad everybody is okay. But I've melted things before those fancy little steamer bags came out.
Yeah,
I've melted some things, but not to the point of. I mean, she must have burned down the water.
Yeah, so the water must have evaporated,
Yes.
and then all of the stuff
Started
must
burning.
Have, but I mean, how easy can that happen? I mean, let's talk about it. Like, I mean, seriously, you read a book, you nurse down, that oxytocin hits, you don't want to get up. You're not thinking about the fact that you have something on the stove.
No judgment. I burned like 6 grilled cheeses in a row.
I was about ready to say,
go.
like, how many grilled cheeses do you burn?
Yeah, I'm shocked I have not caught fire to something. Or, okay, so the newest thing that my kids love, and I mean, we can talk about Nora almost burning down the microwave, like the mac and cheese cups. Well, ding, 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 if you don't read the directions, if you don't put the water in it, it's a sure fire. like
fire.
Like it was smoking, burning, about to catch flames. If you go and heat up macaroni in a plastic cup with no water. So it's so easy to do. And when you got a million things on your mind.
Absolutely. And you're
that take priority.
Absolutely.
Now, I guess not burning your house down is a big priority. However,
keeping your children alive and reading them a book
keeping your children alive
just as important.
And at that, I would have been in the same boat, but I'm glad everything's okay.
Hi, my name is Olivia Wilbanks, and my best mom brain story happened when my daughter was 2 or 3 months old. It was early summertime, and I was nursing her, and my mother called to come to her house to help her. That wasn't a big deal. My mother lived next door, so I just gathered up my daughter And we walked across my front yard into my mom's front yard, went inside her house, and to my great shock, when I looked inside her entryway mirror, I noticed that I did not put my boob up that my child had been nursing on. And anybody who would have been sitting, looking out their windows, or in fact the cars that did drive down the street when I was walking and might have looked up, may have seen a little bit more than they were expecting. What can I say except you're welcome to anybody who saw. And that is what lack of sleep will do to you.
100%.
Fix your boob.
Oh, sorry. My boob's currently out.
Mom brain. Her
Yeah.
boob's out.
Boob's out. Yeah, my boob's been out many of a time. There was one time after one of my multiple children that I've had that I literally spent a good hour with my father-in-law in my family room with my shirt clipped down. I assume there was like no like nipple showing, but I mean, there are many times where I forget to put my layers back together
I think
after
it's
I've
fantastic.
nursed.
And I think like we provide so many cool clothes that help moms to easily access and nurse.
Yeah.
So I think it's so easy to get there that you don't think much about the after. And when you don't have clothes that help you to breastfeed, it's such a process. So you're like on the process, right? But
or the baby falls asleep on the breast and you're just kind of like, okay, now the baby's awake, and like, or it's like an hour later after they've actually nursed and you hand the baby off and you start to actually want to do something for yourself, like get a snack or something. The last thing you're going to think about is like, oh, well, crap, I didn't put my shirt back on after that baby ate, and now you're just chilling with the boob out. Yeah.
so funny.
So funny.
Oh my goodness.
Because your life revolves around those feedings.
Yep.
Okay, so set the scene. Okay. I open my eyes and it's already light. Startled, I jump out of bed and look at the clock. Oh no, oh no, oh no, we're late, I screamed. I rush to wake up my husband and get the kids ready. Still half asleep, they stumble through the motions of our normal morning routine while I tear through the house like a tornado. So I'm just laughing. Soon the kids are dressed, bags are packed, coats and shoes are on, and we're all headed to the car. We get on the road. Thankfully, the traffic is unusually light. We actually might make it on time, I dared to hope. We pull into the parking lot. Where are all the cars, I wonder? The lights at the daycare are off, and it hits me like a ton of bricks. It's a Saturday.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Oh, my gosh. You know, I can't even. The problem is that I don't even try to get my kids anywhere at this point. So I'm sure 2 or 3 or 4 kids, maybe I would have tried to. This point, like I don't even try. But like, yeah, losing track of like what day it is or what's going on. I was like just getting mad at Karen earlier, who I love dearly, who's our podcast kind of like director who helps with like guests and topics and stuff. Like she enjoys like multiple different Slack channels. Well, I have no idea where I'm supposed to be at any given time, and I'm like digging through all the different channels she may have put my schedule in. No idea where I'm supposed to be at any time. Like the only reason why I know it's Thursday is because we go live on Wednesday nights, and we went live last night because I'm tired today. That is the only reason why I know that it's a Thursday.
Yeah, I've woken my son up for middle school at 6 a.m. on a Saturday. And my boys like to sleep till 10:30, 11. He was so mad at me. So
when
mad
did
at
you
me.
realize it was a Saturday?
I have an alarm. My alarm goes off like 5:30. And somehow, I don't know, I think I'd edited an alarm, which I'm like, ding, ding, like, don't ever do that. Set a separate one. But I had edited that one because I needed to be up for Gabe for a swim meet.
Yeah.
Like the weekend before. Well, then I failed to unclick the Saturday off the alarm. So off my alarm went, and off I went upstairs, and he's like, Mom. And I'm like, what? I'm like, dude, it's 6 o'clock. Like, he's like, it's Saturday, Mom. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And kind of, he's one that once he's awake, he's awake. So I felt so bad. Anyways, but yeah, like how easy it is to.
It's so easy. So
know?
easy not to know what day it is.
Yeah.
I don't ever literally know what day it is.
I failed on that technology though. That was my fault.
Here's my story about mom brain / pregnancy brain, actually. I had, sadly, had a little dachshund named Amos, and he has sadly passed away since. But
Amos.
He the only way that he would eat his dog food, his dry dog food, is if I sprinkled a little bit of warm water on his food. And so this one morning I had his bowl of dog food on the counter like I usually do. And I had my bowl of cereal sitting next to it. And instead of sprinkling warm water on his dog food and pouring milk in my cereal, I sprinkled warm water on my cereal and poured milk in his dog food. And then it took me a little while before I actually realized I did this. It actually took me sticking my spoon in the bowl of dog food, and then I caught a sniff of the dog food before I put it in my mouth and realized that I had done that. So thankfully I didn't actually eat dog food that morning instead of my cereal. But yeah, so that was a kind of funny moment of realizing I didn't want to eat dog food. So that's the story I can think of. Thank you. Love Latched Mama, by the way.
Aww.
It's made my mama world so much easier with breastfeeding, and just being a new mom has been so much easier thanks to Latched Mama. Thank you. Bye.
I love little love notes.
I'm picturing like Reese's Puffs in that bowl. Like,
So
I don't know what's the cereal that looks just like dog food, like Pebbles.
I don't know.
Cocoa-ish Pebbles. I guess when you're tired, anything is gonna do it.
I love cereal right now. I think it's just like the ease of it.
Have you tried the Magic Spoon one? Not
No.
to get off topic.
No, I haven't. Well, no, I ordered. Oh, speaking of mom
They're
brain,
expensive.
I ordered a whole case of Magic Spoon after this pregnancy. At some point in the last 4 months, I ordered an entire case, but I put the wrong zip code. So I put my old zip code and my new address, and I never got my case of Magic Spoon cereal.
Okay.
Speaking of mom brain, so towards the end of this pregnancy, I was making it was cold, and I was making, those first few cold fall days where you just want soup or stew or something. Mm-hmm. So I was making I guess you can consider it stew, roast, I don't know. But I realized after I made it and the Instapot went off, not only did I put red potatoes in with it, I also put sweet potatoes, and then I had also made mashed potatoes. So there was 3 different types of potatoes in with the stew. I don't know. I think that's probably overkill. It was delicious, but
carbs.
But I was a little carb centric. But I don't think I realized when I put the red potatoes in that I'd already cut sweet potatoes, nor when I actually pulled out the mixer to make mashed potatoes. I don't think I had realized I had already cut red potatoes and sweet potatoes for it as well. It was very delicious. I mean, give me all the potatoes 34 weeks pregnant, but yeah.
Yeah, my husband makes fun of me for one meal. I think Lennox was an infant, and I made chicken and a pasta side and mashed potatoes. And it was all white and really didn't make any sense. And I was a young mom and I didn't know. But it's still kind of funny to this day. But then I turn around and I'm like, dude, you were a single guy. You made tuna fish and pancakes.
Yeah.
I don't think you can really make fun of my meal.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was all white and all carbs. It's a little bit of protein.
Funny. So funny. There was one time where after I had this baby, Eric opened the refrigerator and there was 17, not 17, probably 10 different types of coffee creamer within the refrigerator. He's like, what are you doing? Well, the 2 prior grocery deliveries, they had dropped my coffee creamer, the one that I like.
Yeah.
And so the only way that I could figure out how to make sure that I had just a little bit of creamer to put in my coffee, because coffee is life after you have a baby, was to order every kind on the app. That was my solution.
Well,
because
then you're guaranteed to get some.
If I'm guaranteed to get something, I just wanted something. So instead I had an entire grocery case of creamer in my refrigerator.
Okay.
He made fun of me for a really long time.
That is kind of funny.
But yeah, dog food versus cereal.
So
it happens, y'all. This whole mom brain thing, it's real life. I feel like it's my real life all the time. The fact that we put this many podcast episodes together with my mom brain that I currently have is pretty impressive. Do you have anything to say, Lindi, on mom brain?
I do. I realized another story. I don't know if it's really a mom brain story, Maybe it's I don't know. But anyways, we were dealing with like these fruit flies, right? For sure, like no, and this is not the boys. That was a different fruit fly. This is another fruit fly story.
I have so many fruit fly stories. I literally want to start a blog that's like there's fruit flies in the minivan, because I get fruit flies in the minivan every single summer. I get fruit flies in the minivan.
They're
Everywhere.
So we were dealing with them in the kitchen. I couldn't figure out what these things would not go away. Traps, they would not go away. They were everywhere. Well, then I started to notice a few more in the little laundry area. So we had like this little small, literally enough for a person, and then 2 machines and like a shelf. Then we had a door that went out to like the backyard, but like side of the house. This was like the old house.
Yep.
So I'm in there, and then there's like more in there. And I'm like, well, why are they in my laundry? Like, that does not make sense. On and on. The day's gone. They're still in my laundry. They're still in my laundry. And then I kept looking. I'm like, well, maybe it's something in my laundry, but like, what would be in my laundry? Like, there's no food in here. Like, I don't understand. And I found one of my bags, because you know us moms, we just
never
throw
clean out
all
my bags.
The crap in the bag.
Yeah.
When I say I opened this bag and like thousands swarmed at my face, I wanted to vomit. And I shut the bag like all of them, like larvae alive, like all the things that make you cringe. And I literally opened that bag and
did you throw the bag away?
Hurled the bag out the door and like shut the door like really fast. And then I was like, I found it.
What was in it?
It was like rotten apples.
A banana or apple?
Yeah, it was some sort of kid's fruit. I found it. Then they went away.
I do like the banana, because the banana goes rotten. The banana doesn't normally do the fruit flies. If you keep the... I can tell you about all sorts of decomposing fruits and vegetables, because I think I've done it all, because I'm not a very good bag cleaner outer. Like if I bring a bag like somewhere, like to a swim meet or to a park or something, I very rarely remember to get snacks out of said bag later, which is really nice, because if you take the bag again and it wasn't a fruit or a vegetable, you have snacks, which is great.
Right.
But if you do remember said fruit, apples are not good. Apples, no bueno, ever. Like they have enough sugar as they decompose that they cause the fruit flies. The banana, though, normally dries up pretty well. And then when you eventually find it, if it's like weeks and weeks and weeks and months later, it's a very easy cleanup, because it almost like absorbs its own stuff again, and it's just black and hard and whatever. Apples, not good.
Yeah.
Oranges, not good either. They get a lot of like the like green mold and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe not necessarily mom brain.
Yeah.
However,
but I have to tell you, when you do get fruit flies in the minivan, the amount of cup holders that are in a minivan is fantastic, because you can just set those traps in every cup holder, the apple cider vinegar traps, because there's so many cup holders, so you can put them everywhere, and it's great. Oh my gosh, the fruit flies in the minivan. Yeah. The squirrel in the minivan. I've had some great stories. I mean, and that's a good mom brain story. Is like when I left the van door open on one Saturday afternoon, and the kids told me that they saw a squirrel in the car, and I was like, have I ever told this story on the podcast? This is like one of my favorite stories. So I left the door open. It was a Saturday afternoon. We had come back from a soccer game. The kids were like, "Hey mom, we just saw a squirrel run in the car." And I'm like, "You guys are full of crap. There's no squirrel in the car." And then like 4 days later, I came in and I was like, "Is that poop on my car seat?" And I'm like, "There's no way there's poop on my car seat." So like I kind of brushed it off. And then the next day I came in and I started the car, and like all of the lights on the dashboard were blinking, like the airbag light and like all of these like check engine lights. And I'm like, that is so weird. And then I saw a little bit more poop, and I was like, holy crap, is there really a squirrel living in my car? So I drove it for a couple more days, but then realized it probably wasn't safe if the airbag light was on. So then we actually realized that there was a squirrel living in my car. The squirrel had eaten the entire... So the car stopped actually being able to be started. The squirrel ate the entire wiring harness inside the front dashboard of the car. The insurance company totaled said minivan because of the squirrel. Eventually, we were able to take the dashboard apart and get the squirrel out of the car. It was unbelievable. Well, actually, when we took the dashboard off, we couldn't get the squirrel out. We saw the squirrel, and we saw like where he was living, which was really cool. But then we trapped the squirrel, and the squirrel eventually ran out of food and got in the trap, because it took him a really long time to run out of food, because he had taken all of the food from inside the minivan and he had stored it in the dashboard. So he didn't really have any reason to get out, because all of my kids' crap that they dropped on the floor,
for a while.
I fed him for a very, very long time before he had to come out of the dashboard and actually go into the trap. And then we released him to go. But he totaled a $24,000 minivan. Yay on Mom Brain Story. So close your sliding doors of your minivans if you can, if you're like me and there are snacks on the floor.
So I have another one from yesterday, which was kind of funny. It's in the neighborhood. So I drove out to take Gabe to swim.
Okay.
And my neighbor's front door is just wide open, crap like all over. And then there was like a food tray, which was really, really weird. And I was like,
were you worried
I wonder
about
if
that?
She's okay. So I went to swim and I was like, if that door's still open when I get back, I'm going to call her. Went to swim. It's about 20 minutes. I come back. The door's still open. So here's me who went through that like
do you listen to true
crime series, like all that. And I'm kind of thinking the worst in like our little suburban cul-de-sac. And so I call her and I'm like, hey, your front door's been open for a while. Are you okay?
Yeah.
And she laughed. She's like, girl, I got the front door open, the back door open. She's like, I burnt the chicken. I have youth group coming. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this poor mom. Like, I can so relate to her. So she was airing out her house. And it was
because
great.
She burnt the chicken and because
she had something on smoke. Something was smoking and all this stuff.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, yeah, just, watch a lot of true crime, just making sure you're alive. And she laughed so hard because I think like you can all relate.
Absolutely.
Like,
what I was
you like look out for each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I wish I'd caught your door so that little squirrel friend did not come in your car.
Gosh.
But
that
like,
was not a great experience.
Yeah, doors.
Good news is I have a lot of it on video and I'll have it for the rest of my life. Like I'll never forget when we took the dashboard apart and I saw his little tail, because we were all really doubtful that he was actually living in the car at that point. No, he was. He was happy. And you should have seen all of the snacks. Like every snack I had fed my kid in the past year was stashed like a little squirrel would inside the dashboard. There were apples. There was pirate's booty. There were M&Ms. There were everything you could ever want in the squirrel. Like the squirrel had just kind of made his little house. Anyways, all right. Mom brain is real, guys. Speaking of which, give yourself some grace. Give yourself some understanding. Laugh about it if you can. Email us. We will always laugh with you.
Stay safe.
Stay safe. Shut your front door.
Yeah.
Shut your van door. Set some fruit fly traps if you need it. Remember, bananas decompose the best in a bag. Okay. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.